You're the sunflower. I think your love would be too much, or you'd be left in the dust unless I stuck by you. You're the sunflower. You're the sunflower.
What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Welcome back to a new episode. It's your girl, the Sunflower Child, and you are now tuned into Talks with Sean. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. I hope this week is an amazing week, and I hope that you get something out of today's episode. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe, and comment down below. So let's get into it. So today's topic is your family toxic, and how to break from generational curses. Wow. So many of us don't even realize that we are in generational curses. So many of us don't even realize that our family are the biggest the biggest thing that's holding us back to becoming who we are. Our families are toxic. And so, in this episode, I want to express to you what it is to break that and how to deal with a toxic family or family members. Okay? So, I think we have to understand what a generational curse is, right? And a generational curse is something that has been happening over time, over years, over decades, that has been passed on to generation. And for example, for me, right, a generational curse that I am breaking, okay, is being a single parent. I've seen my mother be a single parent. I've seen my sister be a single parent, and I am going to break that generational curse. There's so many people in my family who have had children out of wedlock. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with having children, but what I'm saying is sometimes we don't even realize that there are curses on our family. And we have to be able to break those curses. We have to be able to change something so that our children's children, so that the generation behind us will be able to break those curses. Will understand that that is not the norm, and that I don't have to be like X, Y, and Z. I can stop this with me. I can stop this with my children. I can stop this pattern with my future. And so for me, that is what I'm doing. I am stopping the generational curses that the enemy, that my family has over them. And so it is very important that we understand what a generational curse is. I can't tell you exactly what a generational curse is to you, because only you and your family know. But it's something that's been passed on, something that is negative, something that is not something. I'm not saying a child is a bad thing, because a child is a blessing. But what I'm saying is, when you are living in a family, in a household where there is no father involved, or there's no mother involved, and you are dealing with a broken home, and all you know is a broken home, you've never seen a mother and father together. I'm not saying you have to be married. What I'm saying is, sometimes we often see what our parents and our grandparents and our aunts and uncles and cousins have done, right? And we think that is acceptable because it has been passed down. But I'm here to tell you that if there's something in your life, if there's something that your family is doing that you don't want to do, please know that you will be the generation curse breaker, that you will break these curses, that you will not be a single parent, that you will have an amazing relationship, that your children will see what it is to be in a one family home. Whatever it is that your family has over their life, know that if you know that it is a generational curse that has been passed down, and you want to break it, you will. Can family members be toxic? Absolutely. Sometimes family members are the ones that you think are going to support you, but in reality, they're your biggest haters. We have to understand that just because somebody is family, just because somebody has the same blood type as you, does not necessarily mean that you have to carry on their toxic weight, that you have to carry on their issues, their insecurities, their financial burdens. No, that is not your responsibility. And I believe that sometimes our family members, especially parents, they like to guilt trip us, right? And they make us feel bad because those are our parents. We love them. We want to see them win. We want to be success. We want them to be successful. But at the same time, we have to put ourselves first because this is our life. And so, mommy and daddy, you know what? You got to live your life, and you're still living your life. And there is nothing that you can't do as long as you are living, as long as you are breathing, as long as you are able to get up and move around. You are able to do what you got to do. Don't allow people to guilt trip you. Don't allow your family members to guilt trip you and thinking that their responsibility that they don't want to take no more is your responsibility. No. It is not. It is not. Know that toxic family members can bring you all the way down, can damage your soul. And it is important that you know when somebody is toxic to you and when somebody is just asking for some advice or just a helping hand this one or two time. If somebody is continuing to thinking that you're supposed to take care of them, that all of their burdens is now your burdens, that is a toxic person. Whether that's a family member or whether that's a person in general, a relationship or friendship, that is a toxic person. Now, for example, if I come over to a family member and say, hey, I'm having a hard time, do you mind if I need $100, I'll give it back to you in 2 weeks, I'll give it back to you in a week, and I pay them back, that is a helping hand. That is something different. But if somebody is taking and taking and taking and taking from you, and they're not pouring anything into your life, if they're not doing anything to help you grow, and you're pushing all of your eggs into their basket, all of your money, all of your stress, all of the anxiety you're having because of this person, you need to let them go. People say it's hard to let family go. Yes, it is very hard, but at the end of the day, this is your life, this is your story. And you can't let any or anybody hold you back to where you're trying to go, especially a family member. And I've gotten to a place where I realize my happiness is more important than anybody else's happiness. It is okay to be selfish. And what I mean by that is it's okay to put yourself first. You done taken care of everybody else. You done put everybody else before you. And nobody has put you in first. Nobody's put you in first place. It's always been you carrying everybody else's weight. And some people are carrying people's weight, and they're the youngest, including myself. Hello. Some people are the youngest in the family and taking on everybody's responsibility when they're trying to drive their own boat and take somebody else's baggage onto the boat when the boat is only one passenger. And it only weighs a certain amount, and you can only have a certain amount of weight. And so what you're doing is adding all this baggage onto this boat. And once you add all the baggage onto the boat, what does the boat start doing? The boat starts sinking because you're adding all this weight, all this pressure onto you. And then what happens to you? You start to break down. You start to get affected. Why? Because the baggage from your family, because of the baggage from your mother, from your father, from your sister, from your cousins are on you. And you got your own baggage. And we don't have time to work on anybody else's baggage. They did not birth you. You did not birth them. They are not your child, which means they are grown enough to get on their 2 feet and do what they got to do. Do not allow anybody to try to make you feel bad about trying to put yourself first, about trying to do the things that you want to do. Sometimes our family says negative things about the careers that we want to do, about the financial situations, the decisions that we want to do in our life, because you know why? Because they were afraid. They were afraid to keep going. And so what ends up happening is when you have a toxic family, when you have people who are negative in your family, what they'll do is they see the potential in you. They see the greatness in you. And what they want to do is misery loves company. So what they'll do is bring all their insecurities, all their fears onto you. And now you're second guessing, well, man, should I have done that? Should I follow this dream? Should I be a motivational speaker? Should I do this podcast? No, absolutely. You're going to do everything that you want to do. Don't let anybody tell you, not a family member, tell you what you need to do, especially if they haven't paid not one bill. And you didn't help them and help them and help them and help them, and they haven't done anything to you but gave you a negative opinion. Woo! We got to learn when to break away. See, my happiness is more important. Where I'm trying to go in life is more important. There's a lot of things that's happened in my family that I know for a fact that I don't want my children to go through. I'm trying to work on myself so I can break those generational curses. I grew up in a very abusive verbal home, and I thought that was the norm. I thought that was okay. So going on in life, I was very verbally abusive in certain ways, or very aggressive because of what I seen. But I'm telling you right now, I'm breaking those curses. I'm breaking the things that happened in my household, in the household that I grew up in, and I'm breaking them because some things are just unhealthy. And this is not to bash no family members. This is not to bash your family members. But some things we have to let go. Some things and some people we have to let go in order for you to go farther, in order for you to help them out in the long run. Sometimes you got to break away. Sometimes you got to say, this is too much for me. I'm going to leave you in that water floating, and I'm going to come back and get the boat and learn how to drive the boat. And if I feel as though I need to come back to get you, I will. But it is not your responsibility. Please know that it is not your responsibility to take care of a grown person. Some people like to milk a situation, and when they see that you've helped them so much, or when they see that you have a caring heart, they want to keep pushing to see how much they can get out of you. They want to keep pushing and seeing if they can continue to guilt trip you. No, stop allowing people to guilt trip you, especially your parents. Parents sometimes they guilt trip their children. And that doesn't mean that they don't love you. But what ends up happening is sometimes they see where you're going and they see your success, right? And honestly, you don't owe your parent anything because they did their part, which is made sure that you was fed, that you had clothes, that you got an education, that you were able to do everything that you needed to do in order to be an adult. And so now they have to set you free, and you have to start your own family, and you have to start your own traditions. You have to start your own things going on with you and your family. It is nobody's responsibility to take care of somebody. I'm not saying don't help your parents. What I'm saying is when your parents or when a family member is being toxic to you and it's draining you and it's affecting you and it's making you depressed and you feel dark and you feel angry and you feel upset, you have to let them go because it is about your happiness. It is about your happiness. I had a situation where my parent was living with me for about 6 months out of the norm, right? Out of the norm. It happened. I said, okay, cool. I had to fix some things around, had to make sure, that person felt comfortable. Great, cool. And through those 6 months was literally one of the most damaging, most depressing moments of my life, because I was allowing somebody who was toxic to come into my piece of home, into my piece of sanctuary, and affect the atmosphere because of the issues that she was going through. And you know what that happened to me? Then that affected me. It affected me working hard, working to take care of me and a grown woman, working to make sure that groceries was in the fridge, to make sure that things were situated. And then you have somebody who was grown enough sitting and complaining all the time. And I started to realize that I was becoming sick. I started to realize that I didn't enjoy being in my house anymore. I started to realize that I was becoming unhappy. I started to realize that I started to be more aggressive. I started to realize that I became more hateful and just angry inside at this person. And I had to realize that I could no longer do this. It was not my burden to carry anymore. I did what I needed to do. I did what I could do for you, and it still wasn't good enough. So I have to let you go. Toxic people are only going to affect the energy that you have in you, that are only going to affect the atmosphere that you have in you. When somebody is very toxic, the whole atmosphere change. And so I had to do what's best for me. So I had somebody say, well, how could you cut your own mother off? I said, I love my mother with all my heart, and I still do. But at the end of the day, if you are not good for me, if you are not helping me out, if you're not putting positive, good vibes into me, I'm sorry, I don't care who you are. I gotta let you go. Because I got things that I want to do. I got things that I need to do. And I can't allow somebody who is dealing with their own demons, their own issues, to affect where I'm trying to go in life. I have to go. I got to let you go. Because I'm going to be damaged for my future. I'm going to be damaged for my future husband and for my future kids. And I'm going to continue to have that generational curse, that negative energy, that negative energy that I've seen from my grandmother, from my mother, from my cousins, from my aunts and uncles. I want to break the generational curse. That's it. So if I have to let you go in order for me to be the best woman I need to be for my future, for my kids, then that's what I'm going to have to do. Because I can't allow somebody who is toxic to affect where I'm trying to go in life. And there were so many times where this person has guilt tripped me and made me feel bad. And because, she's my mother, of course, your parents know you. They know you very well. So they'll say things, oh, well, I don't have money and all this. And you feel bad. But when is enough enough? I got into a place where I felt as though I was being used and not appreciated. And not saying, hey, Sean, thank you so much for everything that you've done. It was always negative. And so what I had to realize is I pay the bills in this house. I make sure we eat in. I need to gain my control back. You got to gain your control back. You have to be able to be successful. But in order to be successful, you got to throw away the toxic waste. Throw away the toxic waste. Some things we don't even realize that as a child, right? The things that we go through in our child affects us now. There are things in my life that still affects me. And we don't even realize, well, that's the reason why we act the way we do. Or that's the reason why she's like that. No. Think about some things in your life that you've gone through, that you thought that you were over. And think about how you act now. Could that be the reason? Is the little boy in you, is the little girl in you crying out because that little girl, that little boy is still affected from your past, from what your family did to you in your past, from your childhood? We have to realize things. We have to understand things. that certain things that affect us in our childhood will affect us in our adulthood. And we have to be able to grab whatever affected us in our childhood and break that up and heal those wounds so that our children won't be dealing with the same issues that we've gone through. Because you know why? We didn't deal with it. The reason why generational curses happen because the person who started it didn't deal with it. And so when they have a child, boom, their child deals with the same issues. Boom, their child deals with the same issues. Boom. No, you gotta claim it. You will not be like your parents. You will not be like your grandmother. You won't be like your cousins. You will succeed. We have to speak that into existence. Don't allow family members to hold you back because they were afraid and they got held back. Be the generational curse breaker. Do something different. Step out the box. I'm the only one in my family who is doing something different as a career-wise. I am stepping out the box. You know how many people are expecting this to fail? You know how many people, whether that's family members or friends or people outside, are wanting this to fall? No. Anything that you want in life is not going to come easy. And what we have to realize when people are saying negative things about, see, we have to really dig deep. And what we have to realize is when people are saying negative things about us, we often hear those things and we get upset and we get insecure and we start to hurt and we start to doubt ourselves. But in reality, the negative comments is what we need. Well, why would you say that, Sean? I say that because there is something in you that they see and they're trying to break that so that you won't go far. Somebody who says something negative about you, somebody who says, oh, well, you know, that's nice and all, but how you gonna do that and all that? No, because they see that you have the potential to go far. They see how an amazing person you are. They see that, man, they wish they had the strength that you had. They wish that they had the work ethic that you had. They wish that you had the mentality. They wish that they had the mentality that you have. So keep going. Thank you for the hate. Thank you for the negative comments. I'm going to see you at the top. Because I'm going to the top. And sometimes you can't bring everybody to the top. Hello. Sometimes you cannot bring everybody with you. Not everybody deserves to be at the top with you. Family or friends, whatever. And that's honest. Who helped you when you was down and out? Who called you when you was out? The people that support me the most are strangers and are my friends. You would think that your family members would be your number one supporters, but in reality, sometimes they're just not. And sometimes you just have to break away from the damage and hope and pray for them and love them from afar. Because I love myself more than to deal with all of this, baggage. Y'all have to work on it yourselves. I'm over here trying to work on my future. I'm trying to work on my future and my future kids and the traditions that we will set. And just because you come from a toxic family does not mean that they are bad people. Let's get that straight. Just because you come from a toxic family does not mean they're bad people. It just means that they have a lot of demons that they haven't faced, that they are scared to face, that they are afraid to get the healing that they need, that they're afraid to work on it. Some people are so set in their mind, in their mind, they're so set in their ways. They're so set in their ways that you can't tell me nothing. I have a grandmother that don't want to hear nothing you got to say because she's older and she knows everything and she's lived longer. Okay, Nana. Okay. Because you know it all. How far have you gotten? Stop being so close-minded. Grandparents, parents, cousins, aunts and uncles, family members. Stop being so closed-minded when somebody else from the family is trying to help you out or is trying to give you some encouraging words. Accept what they have to say and you decide, okay, whether you want to take it or not. But don't just close them off. Don't just shut them off right then and there. Because somebody younger than you may have something that you need to hear, may know something that you need to hear. Grandparents, if you have a younger niece or nephew or a grandchild that is younger who knows well about technology, allow them to help you. You don't know nothing about that. Allow them. Sometimes we live in families. We have families who are just so set in their ways. And stepping away is not a bad thing. Stepping away is showing strength. It is very hard. Trust and believe. It is hard. It is hard. I grew up without a father. I grew up with not really knowing my father's side like that, here and there, right? I grew up with only my mother. And then on top of that, she was never really around because she was working all the time. So my mother was actually my sister. And what ended up happening is we became a mother and daughter relationship and not a sister and sister relationship. And I never understood why we didn't have that relationship that I always wanted. It's because at a young age, she had to take on a responsibility. And I hope that you're watching this episode, and I want to thank you so much for everything that you've done for me. Thank you for raising me. Thank you for helping raising me. I know that there were certain things that you couldn't do. I know there's certain things and certain activities that you wanted to do, but you couldn't because you had to stay home with me. I appreciate you and I thank you for that. I thank my sister for that. Danica, I thank you for that. So sometimes in life, right, we have a parent that's not there at all. And then we have a parent who is there but isn't really there because they're always gone. They're always working to make sure that you're good and making sure that the household is good. But what ends up happening is you have a child who grows through life feeling alone and feeling as though they don't have a parent. And so it is important that we understand that sometimes our families, right, don't mean to hurt us, don't mean to bring us down. But if they're so caught up in a negative circles, in a negative ball, it is hard for them to see the light. It is hard for them to be positive. And so for me, I took a responsibility into making sure that I put myself first. And if that means cutting off my family members, if that means blocking y'all, then that's what I need to do for myself. Because it is nothing but negative drama and issues. And I don't need that. You don't need that. So don't feel bad if you feel as though I can't do this no more. I gotta cut this person off. Because you got to do what's best for you. You got to do what's going to make you happy. And if allowing yourself to, if you're in a transition phase where you're trying to heal and heal and grow, and you're trying to, heal from the little girl, the little boy inside, and you still have toxic energy around you as a family member coming, how are you supposed to heal? Sometimes we look for answers from our mothers, our fathers, our family members, and they're not able to give us the answers that we wanted because they're still dealing with that. They're still dealing with the demons. And so I encourage everybody to heal on their own. Try to walk through the healing process. And for me, I do that by reflecting on what happened in my childhood. Not saying that I had a bad childhood, but there are some things that as a parent, as a future mother, that I would do differently for my children. So We have to understand that sometimes we'll never get a sorry. Sometimes our parents or our loved ones will never own up to what they did. But we have to accept that, you know what, unfortunately, that is who they are. Wish them well, pray for them, pray that God will change their heart, change their mind. But you have to be able to get the healing that you need. Because you can't be walking around broken, because your family, not the family you came from, but the family that you're creating, is going to be broken if you don't get yourself together. If your partner doesn't get themselves together. It is important. Should you be responsible for family members? No. In my eyes, absolutely not. Just like I said earlier, if they are able to walk and able to do things on their own, it is not your responsibility. Do not feel like you have to take on responsibilities. Whether that's your mother, your father, a grandmother, you have responsibilities and things that you have to do for yourself. I'm not saying don't help people. What I'm saying is, when a toxic person, when a toxic family member is continuing to pull, and take, that is not healthy for you. How can I build myself up? How can I build my credit up? How can I have a home and you continue to take from me? How am I supposed to be successful if I'm at the bottom with you? Sometimes we have to leave people where they are. Just like I said, drive your own boat. Sometimes you have to leave them floating in order to build yourself up. In the long run, it will be better to leave them floating and for you to learn how to drive the boat instead of floating with them, because two floating people, what does that do? It doesn't help anything. You're still floating. And then you're waiting for somebody else to help you and that person. You can't swim and expect you to carry that person and their baggage and your baggage to the land. You gotta be able to learn how to drive your boat, learn how to be successful, learn how to do the things that your parents couldn't do. Whether that's build your credit, etc., whatever. And then come back and help the family. But what I am saying is to you, sometimes when we make a amount of success in life, we feel like we owe everybody. Well, where were the people that are grabbing out for a hand? Where were they when you needed them? Did they help you? Did they do the things that you needed for them? Ask yourself that. I see a lot of people, friends and family members, all of a sudden hitting me up. Well, that's interesting. Now that I have a podcast, now that I'm trying to do something different, people want to hit me up. Well, where were you when I was homeless? Where were you when I asked you for money? We have to realize that just because they are family does not necessarily mean that they should have the title of being family. Well, what do you mean by that? There are friends and mentors that I call family because they've done more for me than my own family has. And so for that, I'm forever grateful. Because I never knew what exactly a healthy family looked like. I came from a broken home. So I appreciate the people who love on me unconditionally and have done so much for me just because. Not because they didn't want anything out of me, but because they wanted to see me win, and they continue to want to see me win. We got to understand sometimes our family members will even do things like they'll give you help or they'll give you advice, right? Or something. And then later on, they'll say, well, I done gave you that $400, I done did this, I done gave you that TV. Boy, if I knew you was gonna do all that, then I didn't want the TV. I didn't need the $400 if you was gonna make a big deal out of it. There's sometimes toxic family members, there's always a motive behind what they're doing. And we have to realize sometimes that their motives aren't good motives. So don't allow your family to hold you back from where you're trying to go in life. Family sometimes can be the people that actually push us to even thrive harder because they're doubting us so much. So don't allow your family members, I don't care who they are, who said you couldn't do that, you're not smart enough to go to college, you're not able to get this degree, I don't know why you're going to school for all of this, I don't know why you want to start your own business. Do you know how much money that is? Oh, I don't think you should do with that. Oh, no, you need to change this color. Why her hair like that? Why are you raising your children like that? Oh, well, when I raised y'all, I did this. No. Shut them up in a respectful way. I appreciate your words. I appreciate that you're trying to, support me, but I don't want this type of support because it is negative support. So I have to distance myself. I love you. I love you from afar, but it's better if I love you from afar, from a distance. Because when I love you from afar, when I love you from a distance, I am able to be more successful. I'm able to think clearly. I don't have no clouded mind. I don't have all that negative energy around me. I'm able to grow. I'm able to do the things that I want to do. I'm able to break these generational curses. I'm able to go to therapy. I'm able to talk about the issues that I've went through in my childhood. Because sometimes our toxic families, they don't want to hear what they did, how they affected you. They don't want to take on that responsibility because it's too much for them. Get the healing that you need so that your children's children will be able to see that mommy, and daddy were healthy. That they broke generational curses that their family members could not break. That they broke generational curses that our family members could not break. Stop feeling as though you have to put all of your family members' energy on your shoulder. You are only one person and you're doing the best that you can, but you have to be able to look yourself in the mirror and say, what about me? Am I happy? I'm taking care of everybody else and everybody else's children. But I'm damaged. Everybody is being able to grow. Everybody is being able to become healthy because my energy is going out to them and their energy is pouring into me. And so what ends up happening is you become vice versa. You become dumb. You become a negative person. And sometimes you can help a family member and it's still not good enough. They still complain. Well, you know what? I done did all that I can. I did everything that I can. And I love you and I want you to be successful. But it is time to put me first. I have a family now that I need to take care of. I got this going over here. And I can't allow what I have over here to be affected from all of this pain and all this damage. It is okay to walk away. It is going to hurt because that's your family. But what is more important? You staying in a situation that's going to damage you even more, or you getting away from that and having some hurt and having some pain, but being able to walk and walk and walk and finally be able to get the healing, finally to be able to do the steps that you want to do, finally be able to push yourself to go outside of the box. You don't have to be like your family members. You don't have to do the careers that your family did, that your mother wants you to do. You don't have to be a nurse if you don't want to. You don't have to be what your mother was. You create your own lane. This is about you. This is your life. They have their own life. They've lived their life. Now it's time for you to live your life. It's time to do the things that you want to do. It's time to get yourself together. It's time for you to put that key in and drive to the left, to the right. Well, this is the left, this is the right. Left, right, straight, swerve. Whatever you want to do, you drive your own boat. Don't allow anybody to drive your own boat, to drive your own success. You know what you want in life. You know what you want to do in life. I love you, but I have to let you go. This is too toxic for me. Certain things in our family members, in our lives, we think is okay, and it's not okay. And we're not taught better because we don't know better, because it is learned behavior. You learn from your parents. You learn from your family. Those are your first teachers, your family members. So certain things that we go through, we have to understand that is learned behavior, and that is not okay to act like that. That is not okay to speak to people like that. That is not okay to have that mentality like that. Know that you will and you can break those curses. And a lot of time our family members don't break those curses because it makes them uncomfortable. They'll start good, right? They'll start pedaling. But as soon as they keep going and keep going into the deep end, they come back because they are afraid. It makes them uncomfortable. They can't see what's on the other side. No. You need to keep going and allow God to follow you, to walk with you. You follow Christ. Because you may not see what's on the other side. That's why it says walk by what? Faith and not by sight. You may not be able to see what's on the other side, but God sees what's on the other side. Every pain, every issue, everything that you've gone through in life, I encourage you to talk to the people that have hurt you. Whether that's your mother, your father, a grandparent, whoever that is in your family, I encourage you to talk to them about it. And if they are open, that is a beautiful thing. I'm happy for you. If they are not, if you're in a situation like me where they're not too open, know that you did everything that you could do. Know that you tried everything that you could do. But you have to leave it up to God, and you have to say, you know what? I did my part. And I could walk away knowing I did my part. And I love you and I care for you. But until you get yourself together, until you get the healing that you need, until you do a 180, a 360 up in here, I have to walk away. Doesn't mean I don't love you. Doesn't mean that I don't care. Doesn't mean that I'm a cold-hearted person, but my happiness and my way of doing life is more important. I can't be like you. I got to do things differently. I got to see if I walk my way, can I change things? Can I be the person that changes things in our family? I have to at least try. You have to try. You have to try. You have to look deeper into your childhood, into the things that you've gone through, and realize, am I still affected by the things that happened in my childhood? Am I still dealing with some issues that I need to work on, that my family did to me? Stop being around toxic people. And if you have to walk away, you need to surround yourself with family members who aren't necessarily your family, but they act more like your family. Know that you are loved and you are cared for, and nothing is your fault. It's just sometimes our family members go through things and go through demons that they just aren't ready to face. And so it is not your battle, it is their battle. Stop fighting everybody's battle. Stop feeling like you have to be the person who slays all the giants. You work on yourself. Don't allow any family member to hold you back. I don't care what they say. You keep pushing. And even if you're still living with a family member or a parent or whatever, you keep writing down your dreams and goals and you keep doing it and you show them, no, I don't want to do that. I'm going to be me. Because this is my life. I have my own personality. I have my own way of thinking. And I just need you to support me and love me. You may not understand it. You may not respect it. But I need you to just be in my corner. And if you can't, then I have to go. Don't allow people, insecurities and fears become your insecurities and fears. I was talking to a friend yesterday and I said, you know what? I think the most beautiful thing that I've learned through this journey of healing and becoming the woman I want to be and the woman that I'm destined to be is that I have learned to accept things that I cannot control and to put everything in God's hand. When things come my way, I've learned to accept it and to understand that this is out of my control, and whatever God has for me will always be for me, and I have to do my part. I cannot dwell on it. I cannot be sad. I have to accept the things that I cannot control and be able to control the things that I can do and do my part so that I can be the best me, so that I continue to be the best woman. For my future husband, for my future children that I'm going to love and cherish and continue to say I love you and I care for you and I want hugs and kisses. Those are things that I didn't receive. And I think that's why I'm such a touchy-feely person now, because I didn't receive that. I didn't hear I love yous a lot. I didn't hear I'm proud of you a lot. Those are things. Those are generational curse breakers that I'm going to break. I'm going to tell my children all the time that I love you, that mommy cares for you, that mommy wants to see you win. I may not be at every soccer game, basketball game, but I trust and believe mommy is coming to a lot of them. Those are things that I wish I had. So think about the things that you didn't have. And you be the parent that you want to be. You be the best parent. You do the things that your parents couldn't do for you. Because what happens is our parents have us, right? So that we can be what? Better than them. And so that what? Our children can be better than us. And that their children will be better than them. So, please know that if you're dealing with a toxic family member, if you're dealing with some stress, you're dealing with a lot of issues, know that it is okay to walk away. And it's okay to work on yourself. And it's okay to remove toxic family members. It is okay to remove toxic people. You're not going to be able to grow if you keep those people in your corner. Love them from afar, wish them well, pray for them, pray for their minds and their souls. And maybe you stepping out the box will allow them to change. You don't know. I hope and pray that what I'm doing right now is going to be able to change the way my family thinks, to bring us back together. But for right now, I gotta work on myself. I can't allow anybody to damage me no more. Stop carrying all of the baggage. Remove the baggage. Remove the baggage. And work on the baggage that you're dealing with so that you can remove. So that you can be free. That you can be set free. That you can fly. And fly your wings and soar high. I'm so proud of you. I love you so much. I want you to win. If I was right near whoever's watching this, I'm hugging you right now. I'm giving you a hug right now, and I'm telling you that I'm proud of you. If your mother didn't say it, if your father didn't say it, if your grandparents, your aunts and uncles, your cousins didn't say it, I'm proud of you. You are a unique soul. There is no one like you. And I love you so much, and I want to see you win. And all the people that all the people that doubted you, all the family members that said that you couldn't do it, one day you'll prove them wrong. One day they'll look and be shocked of how in the world you did that. You kept going. You didn't give up. You didn't give up when it felt uncomfortable. You kept going. You made an uncomfortable situation. You turn an uncomfortable situation into a situation where you have it in your hands and you're able to control it. Don't give up on yourself. Pray for them. Wish them well, but focus on yourself. Thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode. I always like to end with mind, body, and soul. Can we do that? Can we all close our eyes? And I just want to tell somebody else. I don't know who this is for, but I just want to tell somebody that you are not your mother's mistake. You are not your father's mistake. Somebody needs to hear that. Somebody needs to hear. Somebody's feeling like they're a mistake and you're not. Because your father walked away, you're not a mistake. Because your mother walked away, you're not a mistake. You're here for a reason. You're not here for an accident by accident. If God allowed you to grow into your mother's belly and to come out into this earth, there is a reason why you're here. You have a purpose. You have a destiny. Walk into it. I don't know who that's for. But somebody is feeling like they're a mistake. Somebody's feeling like they're a failure. Somebody is feeling as though they're not good enough. They'll never be good enough for their family. But you are. You are more than good enough. You are more than good enough. You are more than good enough. Be yourself. Be yourself. Be yourself. It doesn't matter what your family has done or what path they've done. Be yourself. Somebody needed to hear that. Somebody needed to hear that. I feel that. Somebody needed to hear that you're not a mistake. Keep going. You want to give up, but you're not going to give up. Somebody needed to hear that. I don't know who this is for. You are not a mistake. You are not here by accident. Keep going. Doesn't matter what they say. Keep going. I'm rooting for you. There are people that need to hear your story. There are people that need you to grow. There are people that need you to start that business. There are people that need you to start that hairline. We need you here. So if your family members, biological family members haven't said it, I'm going to say it as your YouTube family. I need you to survive. I need you to keep pushing. I need you to keep going. Everybody close our eyes. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday. Let's close out. Everybody close their eyes and say mind, body, and soul. equals one connection. Mind, body, and soul equals one connection. Thank you so much. I hope today is an amazing day. We will see you next week.